Hello viewers, karibuni kwenye Fireplace. My guest today, she is a writer, a banker, a public servant, and a mother. Ladies and gentlemen, today on my show, I'm pleased to have Mrs. Kiogora. This is Chamiro TV. My name is Godfrey Motiga, and I wish to welcome you to Fireplace. Madam Kiogora.
Yes, sir.
Karibu kwenye Fireplace.
Thank you so much, Godfrey.
Thank you.
And thank you for welcoming me at the Chamiro TV.
Yes.
Online TV.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kiogora.
Yes.
You are a writer.
Yeah.
You are a mother.
Yes.
You are a wife.
Yes.
You are a banker.
Yeah.
You are a public servant.
Yeah.
How do you manage to add all those things at a go?
Godfrey, it is very challenging.
Yes.
But by the grace of God, I'm able to make it.
Yes.
My anchor has always been prayer.
Okay.
Even as you're talking now, last week, you remember I was telling you I was doing exams for my PhD. So all these things, I don't do them by my own strength.
Yeah.
It has taken the grace of God, and He has enabled me this far.
All right.
And also the power of resilience. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So you would generally say you are inspired more by doing the right thing for God.
Yes, doing the right thing for God, and many times, like the books I write them out of what I have gone through in life.
All right.
So when I go through something, an inspiration comes,
Okay.
and then I'm able to write the book.
All right.
Yes.
What you have gone through.
Yes.
Most probably, would you like to tell us a bit of your background?
Yes.
Where most probably you grew up,
Yes,
what you've done.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know the people of Meru would like, and even Kenyans would like to know.
I grew up in Immense Central.
Okay.
In a place called Kibari. Kibari is in Kitrone.
Okay.
Before Kagoma.
Yeah.
And that's where I grew up. I grew up with my mother, who was a peasant farmer,
Yes.
together with my late sister and a stepfather.
Yes.
Because when I was 3 years old, I think my parents, they parted ways.
Yeah.
And my mom left it with us.
Okay.
My late sister died, we have the same father.
Yes.
And when my mother left, she stayed doing a few things there and there, and then she came across a man who accepted to marry her, and we grew up in that environment.
Okay.
It was not a very nice environment.
Okay.
Growing up with a stepfather.
All right.
It was very challenging because I remember like one time, there were times he could say, these are not my children.
Yes.
Unfortunately, God had not given them children with my mom.
Okay.
So it is me and my sister who grew there. He never cared about us. He never took care of any of our, even not school fees, nothing.
Yeah.
So my mom really struggled.
Yeah.
And I went through the primary school, which was Gankondi Primary School, which is in South Imenti. It is in the border of South Imenti and Central Imenti.
Yes.
Fortunately, I did very well by the grace of God. And I was able to join Kiogora National School. That time it was a provincial school, Kiogora Girls. I went through my 4 years. One thing I like telling people is that I'm one of the people who went to high school without school fees. And my mother really struggled to make sure all things were available.
Yes.
Some were borrowed. I remember Reverend Mundu, the late Mundu's daughters were in Kiogora Girls.
Yes.
And my mom, when she had that, she went there and went to borrow uniform.
Yes.
So I went to Form 1 with the borrowed uniform. And she had contacted a number of our friends who were able to, some were buying pens, others were buying a t-shirt.
Yes.
I remember like the day of reporting, we arrived in Kubu and we didn't have a t-shirt.
Yes.
And there is a woman in the Kubu market who went to buy for us a t-shirt of 250 shillings. And then we went to school. My mom didn't have the school fees.
Yes.
She fortunately during those times, I think the schools should go back to that.
Yes.
They were checking all your things, and then the last thing was the school fees.
Yes.
But nowadays it is normally first the school fees, and then they check all the other things.
Stuff,
So all my staffs were checked, and now the thing was, where is your school fees? And my mom says, I want to see the principal. Remember, she's not learned.
Yes.
And she was told, on her opening day, how can you see the principal?
And your background, you had struggled a lot from home.
I had really struggled from home.
Yes.
I grew up with a lot of struggles.
Yes.
I wrote a book, You Are Highly Favored, Never Lose Hope.
Yes.
Actually, it tells me most of how I grew.
Yes.
And it gives my story.
Yes.
So in high school, my mom now was able to see the principal almost at 6 in the evening.
Yes.
And she's telling the principal, I've come to see you. You allow my daughter in school.
Yes.
I don't have any school fees.
Yeah.
And the principal was like, how can you bring your daughter without any school fees? She said, in my small farm, I have some French beans, and they are flowering, and I have some green maize, and I'll make sure in the next 1 month I bring her half of the school fees. And then before the closeout of the term, I'll bring the entire, I'll pay the balance. And she left me in high school with no school fees.
No school fees.
Thankfully, because of the principal, we used to call me Madam Shomborevia in Kiogora Girls.
Yes.
And I was left with no pocket money except 25 shillings, which could be able to bring me from Kiogora. That was transport now, from Kiogora to Nkubo. Then from Nkubo nitajipanga. In case there is something that happens in between the term, then I can be able to.
Yes.
So when I saw many girls taking bread and doing other things in school, I could not do them because I could not afford. So I grew up in poverty. I grew up in so much, so many things were happening without a fatherly love. But God saw me through it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, now you were able to manage all that until you finished your high school, you went to college.
Yes, when you know, one time when I joined Form 1, I didn't do very well in Form 1.
Okay.
I was not performing very well. And I decided to get saved in Form 2. And the reason why I got saved was that I saw the girls who were born again were performing well in school. They were the prefects, and they looked a bit neat. So I said, why can't I also get born again?
Yes.
And when I got born again, let me tell you the truth, God started transforming my life. I actually became a prefect. I started performing very well. And I did good. Yeah. So one time in Form 2, I just sat myself down and I said, Lucy, the way this life is, you have to make a decision. If you don't do well here, you'll have a trip of poverty in your family because your mom is now struggling. Yes. And if you don't do something and work hard in your academics, then it means this poverty will continue. So, nikajiwekea committee, and I told myself I must now change the way I'm doing my things in school. And I started working very hard. So I went through Form 2. In Form 3, I started performing. I remember in Form 3 that term, my dad, there was an Arambe in the school, and it was on radio. So my dad, my real dad, heard about it, and he came. So when he came, and because he's a teacher, he's a retired teacher, when he saw me among the top students in my class, he was very excited, and he actually started now helping my mom in paying the school fees in the later in Form 3 and in Form 4. And by God's grace, I made it to the university. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So, in a way now, I want us to touch a bit on your writing career.
Yes, on my writing career.
Because you're telling us your background was rough.
Yes.
You had a rough past, and that motivated you to be a better performer in life.
Correct.
And now I've seen you've written over 5 books.
I have written 6 books.
6 books.
Yes, yes.
And now I would like us to discuss what was the motivation behind you writing all these books?
All writing books. Before we go to that, when I joined university, I went to Kenyatta University.
All right.
And it was also challenging. Yes. You know about the relationships in the universities. Yes. You know about the sponsors. You know about the sugar daddy. That time they were not called sponsors. They were being called sugar daddies. Okay. And I managed to stand. Yes. In my university. Yes. I used to carry beans, carry maize, all those grains. We used to be allowed to cook in the dormitory. In the hostels. We used to cook in the hostels. Yes. So I was carrying these things from home. I was not tempted at any one time to look for men. Yeah. I was not able even to afford clothing, but I could go to githeri, look for some clothes, you know, the mutumba clothes, and I could look very neat like anybody else. And I went through the university very well without drama. I went through the university without any drama. And then later, when I finished Form 4, okay, we had started relating with my husband in first year. He had approached me. So somehow there was a relationship that was moving on. So by the end of 4 years, we married. And then after marriage, I got a job with Kenya Women Finance Trust. After getting the job with Kenya Women Finance Trust, I resigned and joined Equity. And then it is while in Equity, I left. And when I left Equity, there's something that came in me. I said in the banking career, I have seen businesses do well and businesses fall.
In essence, now that is where your
that's
passion
where I started,
for
yes, because
writing
now
came.
that's where my passion for writing came.
Yes.
So I had seen poor people becoming rich
Yes.
in the my banking career. Yes. I had seen rich people becoming poor. And so I asked myself, what caused all this?
Yes.
And one day, as I was just in my house, 5 points came, and I wrote the points down. And God inspired me to write the common money mistakes people make. Yes.
Most probably you'd like to
Yes. This is
this
is the book. This was my first book. The common money mistakes many people make. You are a product of the financial decisions you make on daily basis. And most of the mistakes that people make are multi-banking. You realize that somebody is in this bank, in this bank, in this bank. We have concurrenting, where people go concurrenting one another, and you find yourself or the person you guaranteed is not able to pay, and your property is attacked or your money in the bank is taken. Failure to take insurance. You know, people fail to take insurance, and things do happen. Even as we talk now, there are some people who don't even have NHIF. Yeah, so when they are sick, everything they have goes away because of sickness. So that's why I wrote the book, Common Money Mistakes People Make. Then after I wrote that one, there was an inspiration to tell people, how did I grow? And so I wrote, you are highly favored, never rose up. Because all circumstances were against me, Godfrey. All circumstances were against me, but God helped me, and I refused to rise up. Yes.
So you are a banker,
yes.
you are a writer,
yes.
you are, you know, you drove all that inspiration because of generally what
I go through, what I passed through has caused me to do the right thing. Yes.
Kindly, maybe you would like to tell our viewers, what are these common mistakes, money mistakes that people make?
Godfrey, people make money mistakes on daily basis. And they are very common. Common indeed. And like one common mistake that people make is failure to save. And every time I talk about savings, they ask, even what I have is not enough. How can I save? And I'm like, no matter how little you have, you must save. If you are a Christian, when you give your 10% as tithe, then make sure you save 10% of whatever you earn. The reason being, as long as there is money in your pocket, there will always be needs. Yeah, there are things that need to be taken care of. So the failure to save, and you have seen it even like the young people, they get married, and the wife conceives to have a baby, and 9 months down the line, there is no money to take the woman for maternity, and so they are borrowing. I saw people coming to the bank to borrow money because the wife is in the hospital to deliver. So failure to save has caused a lot of embarrassment in the lives of people. And remember, people don't like liabilities. When they know Godfrey, every time you meet them, you're borrowing. They'll keep off from you. Even parents, our parents, when they realize that we are borrowing them every other time, they don't want to see us. So everybody wants somebody who has something. So that is a mistake that so many people make, both the young and the old. And remember, life is divided into three. We have the morning sessions of our lives. And the morning session is the learning years, which is 0 to 30 years. From the time somebody is born to 30 years, they are learning. You know, when you are born, you learn from your mother, you go to primary school learning, you go to high school learning, you go to the university learning, then you get a job maybe at the year of 25 or 26. Before you get accustomed to the job, you are still learning. So from 30 years is when you realize people are getting to the management position because they have learned. Then from 30 years to 50 years, those are the earning years, the afternoon years of your life. And remember, the decisions you make in your learning years will determine how your earning years will be and how your later life will be. So between 30 years and 50 years, it is the earning, you are earning money. It's the earning years. And then from 50 and going above, it is the yearning years, you know, the retirement years. So you are eating from what you did. You did when you're in your learning years and your earning years. And you have so many young people who have wasted their young years. the years of learning, they wasted them.
Yes.
Some of them entered into drugs. Some of them never continued with the education. They dropped maybe to go and do under motorbikes and the border business, you know. And then by the time they are reaching the years of 30 to 50, they are not able. They have nothing to show off.
Yes.
And then we have also people who waste a lot of finances in these years of 30 to 50. Remember, that is when people are marrying. Yes. These are the time people are buying vehicles. They want to drive. These are the time people want to build a house. These are also the time people are so enticed by the banks to take loans here and there. So those are the earning years. And then we have those other years, the retirement years, the earning years. Now you are eating from what you are able to do. So if you are not been keen enough to do any savings during those years, then you'll be frustrated in your 50 and above years. You'll be now going to your children asking for money. So it's a very terrible mistake that people make of saving.
All right.
Yes.
So you're saying even that is what now motivated you even more to start doing other books. Like I've seen you've written something on You Are Highly Favored.
You're highly favored. After I wrote that one, I said I wrote highly favored because I wanted to build hope in the lives of people. No matter your background. You cannot remain on the ground because of your background. Yeah, you can always rise above your background by the grace of God. So I wrote this book to show people I had no name. I was not known. I am from a family that was not well known, and even the way I grew up with my mother. My mother really struggled. Yeah, she really struggled. But God favored me. And I say everybody is highly favored by God. It's not about the matter of who who bore you. It's not about your father or mother. God just wanted to use your parents to bring you to this world. Then whatever happens to your life from there, it is your own responsibility. So I wrote to people to tell them they are highly favored. They should not fear anything. They should move on. They should have high self-esteem. Because many people are losing it because of lack of self-esteem. The problems of life today are causing people to lose esteem, and when you have no high self-esteem, there's not much you can do. Then after I wrote that one, I wrote another one, which is not here, Finding Strength in Times of Storm. That's a powerful book. And I always say that storms of life are different. Mine was a sickness. I went through a serious sickness that kills people. I went through a chronic disease that has killed doctors whom I have seen with my eyes. I had systemic lupus. Yeah, it is called lupus. And my life was, I was to lose my life in 2014. But again, these chronic diseases, it's not about the doctors. It's about what you know about God. So I kept on asking Mr. Gogo, what about lupus? And I could Google every time, what is the lifespan of people who have lupus? What foods are they not supposed to eat? And so many questions. And one day, as when we went to see our doctor, and he said, I know what you have lupus. I was not able to sit down. I could not sit down. I could not wear my high-heeled shoes. My hands were dark. They were black. I had spots all over and very painful hands. And the doctor said, I know what it is, but I'm sending you to a certain doctor in Aga Khan Hospital. Tomorrow morning, go there. It was, I was in pain. And when I went there, I was done so many tests, and later he said, some tests will be out in 3 weeks, but what you have is lupus. So we came home. I continued taking medication.
You were in the verge of despair at that point.
I was seeing myself dying God-free. I remember at one time, because this sickness, the way it is that you can feel pain on your finger, and that pain will go deep to the heart, and it's only the finger. I could go out in the sun. I never knew there was a problem with the sun. By the time I'm going back in the house, I can't do anything. I have swollen legs. I'm so tired. I'm not feeling like doing anything. I was not even able to climb the stairs of my house. I was not able to hygienate the car. I was not able to peel potatoes. The common things as a mother you are supposed to do, I could not do. So I remember one time the pain was too much. One side of the head was having so much pain, and I thought that night I would die. So I went to my boy's bedroom. He was just 3 years. And I told him, my son, your mother may be dying soon. Take care of your 2 sisters. I had given up. And as I had done telling him whatever he should do, I had a voice, I don't know from where. And the voice was like, what have you done? Can you unsay the things you have said? I went and prayed to God. And the next day I woke up, I found myself alive, and I was like, you mean I'm alive?
Yes.
So I continued with my journey of taking medication, but I was prayed for by my father in the Lord, Pastor Wilfred Lai, and by faith I am where I am today.
Okay.
Yes.
So again, you say the power of having that resilience, because I've seen a book
yes,
about
yes,
resilience.
Yes. I wrote a book on resilience. 2019, I went through the storms again. I went through things I could not understand. This is the book, yes. and this book, I launched it in March this year. And the power of resilience.
Yes.
It is by the grace of God that I can...
You found yourself now alive because of whatever was happening.
Whatever I went through, and even the things that now I was going through that time. Godfrey, when I left the banking career in 2013 January.
Yes.
And I was involved in other things. And by 2019, things were not going the way I wanted them to go.
Okay.
I went through things I could never imagine in my life.
Yes.
And when I was going through those things, God reminded me,
okay,
you are a master's holder, and you have an experience in banking. Why can't you look for a job?
Yes.
I went to look for a job. Through the assistance of many people, I was able to get the job.
Yes.
That's why I'm working in the public sector now.
Yes.
And I wrote this book to encourage people never to give up one more time. Yeah. And to show them when you are going through some things in life, there are things you can do so that you don't find yourself crashing. Okay. Because this life, you have seen people the way they are killing themselves.
Yes.
And the way people are depressed.
Yes.
The way people are killing each other. They're killing each other because of depression. But with the power of resilience, you can succeed no matter what life throws to you.
All right, that is even most probably the same reason as to why you talked about alcohol. Because I think you saw a bit of desperation with some people dealing with
I wrote
alcohol.
a book on alcohol. I didn't say about it. It's not
you
here.
actually called it The Devil's Drink.
The Devil's Drink of Death.
Yes.
You know why I wrote that book? I was in the house and I saw people dying because of taking the illicit brews.
Okay.
And something told me, why can't you write, do some writing to create awareness? I was writing about to create awareness. And I always say, this book that I wrote, even if it never helped anybody else, it helped my son.
All right.
My son is as young as he is, but he knows alcohol is bad.
Okay.
So I dedicated that book to my son because he already knows alcohol is bad. At any time he says anything to do with alcohol, he says the devil's drink of death. So I had written it to show people that most of the deaths that we have today, 60% of them is as a result of alcohol. Okay. It may be the violence that is at home. Maybe the husband was drunk or the wife was drunk. Somebody has been sacked from their career because of drunkenness. The driving, the accidents that we have on the roads, most of them is as a result of alcohol. So much evil that is in the world today, and the deaths that are in the world today is because of alcohol. Okay. Yes.
Madam Lucy Kiogora, you have shown passion for women.
Yes.
And even in one of your programs about trying to talk to women and empowering.
Yeah.
Most probably would like to tell the women of Meru and even Kenya at large, why you have the passion for women empowerment. You know, in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yes.
When you empower a woman, you empower a home, a society, and a country, and even the church. An empowered woman is a great woman.
Yes.
And I have seen as many women continue to mature, if a woman is not economically empowered, they are treated like rubbish. And I want every woman who is listening to me, if you are a boro woman, you will never be respected by anyone. You need to have something of your own. Actually, somebody said, the little shilling that is in your pocket is everything. Okay. So as a woman, I like empowering the women. And more so on the economic empowerment. Then there is a spiritual aspect of it. Women go through so much, Godfrey. Women are going through so much. Men today are having side chicks everywhere. They are having second wives everywhere. And the first wife is really suffering. Okay? And many of them have chronic diseases, not because of anything else, but because of the things that they are going through. So it is my desire to empower women even spiritually, to know God more. When you know God at a personal level, there are no things that can really push you. You cannot be a pushover. Yeah. So I like talking to the women, encouraging them and showing them that they can make it in life, that they can succeed in life. When I go to the women in the Bible, I have seen women become something. Look at Deborah. She was a judge. Yeah, she was a married woman and she was a judge. And she even went for war. You know, when they were with Barak and she said, God has said, go and fight. And Barak said, no, unless I go with you. So this is a powerful woman. Even the women who have sinned as what? The Bible talks about the woman who had demons, that Jesus removed demons. We have the women we have women who had the issue of blood. So a woman who was so sick, she had spent all her everything. This woman and properties, this woman and everything you can think about. But when the sickness came to her life, she spent everything because she was looking for doctors, all kinds of doctors to heal her, but they could not heal her. Until the day she heard about Jesus and she said, even though I've been banished, because if you had an issue of blood, you are not required to go to the public. But she said, I am sneaking out because I'm the one who knows the sufferings that I'm going through. If only I touch the hem of his clothes, I will be healed. So those are the kind of women we are talking about. We're talking about Hannah, who had stayed for years without a child. Yeah, and she was being irritated by Penina every day. But she knew, if I look for this God. One day she said, let me pray. And she asked God, and she said, God, if only you give me a son. And God gave this woman a son. I have seen women who are suffering to have children. So when you speak to them and you tell them God can do it for you, and God does for them. I remember a woman once in 2017. I had gone for Shiloh in Nigeria. And when I came to Kenya, she had written to me, Mom, I have suffered enough, I have no child. She was the first woman I prayed for. And we talked, I encouraged her, we talked with another. 3 months down the line, she became pregnant and she got twins. And it's because of encouraging her. Women are being battered, there is the violence. You know, the violence. There are women who are also taking care of their children. They are single mothers. They really struggle. Do you know how much single mothers struggle? And I have seen even women who are married, and especially here in Meru, they are the women who are driving the home. They are the women who know what to eat at home and all that. So every time I feel like empowering a woman. I'm telling the woman, you can make it. I came from nowhere. My mother was so resilient. She took me through school. Yeah, being a peasant farmer. It's resilience. And you became a writer? Yes.
And you want to empower people more?
And I want to empower people more. And I'm telling them, if you're, even if you have nothing, educate your children. Do anything, even if it is washing clothes. Even if it is going to Gakoromone or any other market, to make sure that your children go through school. Your children will help you at the end of it all. Do anything, but usifanya mambo ingine mabaya kama ya prostitution, no. Or taking people's husbands, no. Or doing other crazy things, no. Just do something with your hands. Work very hard. Let your children go through school. Don't give up on your children. And see your children through school, and it will be powerful for you in the future. So I encourage every woman, they have the power. They should not give up. They should be encouraged. And let them be economically empowered. Woman, if you cannot buy an handkerchief for yourself, you're in trouble. Yes. Yeah.
Mrs. Kiogora, thank you for coming to Fireplace. It has been a pleasure hosting you and getting to know your story.
Yes.
It's such an inspiration to even young women and even young men. You have talked about issues of alcohol and everything. So I believe even in the near future you will still come to a program and so that you talk more about what are your plans in the future.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank you for Chamero TV. Thank you so much, Godfrey, for the opportunity. I really appreciate. I pray that God blesses you. And all our viewers, may God bless all of you in Jesus' name.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Viewers, that was Fireplace. Today, an inspiring story of Mrs. Kiogora. Until next time, see you then.